Deep within the world's most advanced data centers, a crisis is unfolding. These behemoths of technology process our every digital interaction, from social media updates to online banking transactions. But behind the scenes, a disturbing trend is emerging, one that raises questions about the true cost of our reliance on cloud computing. In 2020, a report by the International Energy Agency, IEA, shed light on this issue. According to their findings, data centers are responsible for an estimated 1% of global greenhouse gas emissions. This may seem like a small percentage, but consider that it's equivalent to the entire country of Germany. To put this into perspective, if you were to combine the annual emissions of all data centers worldwide, they would rank among the top 10 polluters globally. But waste isn't just an environmental concern, it's also a staggering economic issue. A study by the Natural Resources Defense Council estimated that data center energy consumption alone could cost American consumers up to $13 billion annually. And this is just one aspect of the problem. We haven't even begun to account for the vast amounts of e-waste generated by these centers. As we continue to rely on cloud computing, it's essential to consider the long-term implications. The data center industry is projected to grow by over 50% in the next 5 years, with estimates suggesting that we'll see a global increase of over 10 million square feet of data center space. But what does this expansion mean for our planet and its resources? The data center landscape has undergone a significant transformation in recent years, with the rise of cloud computing and edge infrastructure. According to a report by Synergy Research Group, global data center traffic grew at an astonishing rate of 32% year-over-year in 2020, reaching an unprecedented 23 zettabytes per month. This surge in demand has fueled the construction of massive data centers, with companies like Amazon Web Services, AWS, and Microsoft Azure investing heavily in new facilities. However, this growth comes with a hidden cost. A study by the Natural Resources Defense Council, NRDC, found that the average data center wastes enough energy to power 10,000 homes annually. In fact, data centers account for approximately 1% of global electricity consumption, yet they are responsible for around 2% of total greenhouse gas emissions worldwide. The NRDC report highlights that the biggest contributor to this waste is not the servers themselves, but rather the infrastructure supporting them, including cooling systems, power supplies, and air conditioning. The environmental impact is further exacerbated by the e-waste generated from obsolete data center equipment. According to the United Nations Universities e-waste program, an estimated 50 million metric tons of electronic waste are disposed of each year, with the majority coming from discarded IT equipment. This not only poses a significant threat to human health and the environment but also raises concerns about resource depletion and the economic costs associated with e-waste management. As data center usage continues to grow, so too will the scale of this problem unless urgent action is taken to address the root causes. But what exactly are these issues, and how can we begin to mitigate them? Our investigation takes a closer look at the inner workings of modern data centers, revealing shocking truths about waste management, energy efficiency, and environmental responsibility in 2023. A report by the International Energy Agency in 2020 shed light on a pressing issue: data center waste. According to their findings, e-waste generated by these facilities is projected to increase fourfold by 2030. To put that number into perspective, it's estimated that 2.1 million metric tons of electronic waste will be discarded globally within the next 7 years alone. But what exactly constitutes this waste? The problem lies in the rapid obsolescence of data center equipment, driven primarily by advancements in technology and changing market demands. Servers, storage systems, and networking gear, all essential components of these digital powerhouses, are constantly being upgraded or replaced to keep pace with growing computing needs. Take, for instance, the case of Facebook's massive data center expansion in 2018. The social media giant invested over $1 billion in a state-of-the-art facility near San Francisco, equipped with cutting-edge hardware and energy-efficient cooling systems. However, just 3 years later, the company announced plans to decommission significant portions of this infrastructure due to shifting priorities. This pattern of accelerated equipment turnover is having a devastating impact on our planet. According to the United Nations, e-waste disposal methods are often inhumane and unsustainable, with 70% of these hazardous materials ending up in landfills or being informally recycled. Furthermore, the consequences extend beyond environmental degradation. The World Economic Forum estimates that by 2025, $100 billion worth of e-waste will go unaccounted for globally each year, representing a staggering loss of economic opportunity and resources. As we continue to push the boundaries of what is possible in the digital realm, it's imperative we address the dark side of our progress, one where waste and neglect threaten to undermine even the most ambitious technological achievements. The statistics are stark. According to a recent report by the Natural Resources Defense Council, data center energy consumption is projected to reach a staggering 140 billion kilowatt-hours by 2025, up from just 70 billion in 2010. This translates to an astonishing 2% of global electricity production being devoted solely to powering these facilities. But it's not just energy that's being squandered, water usage is also a significant concern. In 2023 alone, the world's data centers are expected to consume over 600 billion gallons of water, enough to supply a city of 4 million people for an entire year. And yet, despite these alarming numbers, many operators continue to ignore simple measures that could significantly reduce their environmental footprint. Take cooling systems, for instance. Traditional air conditioning units account for up to 40% of a data center's energy consumption. However, newer technologies such as evaporative cooling and heat recovery systems can slash this figure by nearly 2/3, all while improving equipment reliability and reducing maintenance costs. But it's not just technology that holds the key, organizational changes are also essential. Companies like Microsoft and Google have made significant strides in recent years by implementing more efficient data storage solutions, such as using solid-state drives, SSDs, instead of traditional hard disk drives, HDDs. By leveraging these innovative technologies, organizations can significantly reduce their carbon footprint while still meeting the demands of a rapidly growing digital landscape. The fact is, our current reliance on fossil fuels and unsustainable practices is not only harming the environment but also driving up costs. A report by Accenture estimates that companies can save up to 30% in energy costs simply by optimizing their data center operations. As we move forward into an increasingly digitized future, it's imperative that we rethink our approach to resource management, before it's too late. The staggering statistics are enough to make one question the true cost of our digital addiction. In 2020, a report by the International Association for Machine Learning and Artificial Intelligence revealed that data centers worldwide were generating over 140 million tons of e-waste annually. To put this into perspective, that's equivalent to the weight of about 2,500 Empire State Buildings. One of the most striking examples of neglect is the story of the decommissioned servers left behind in the wake of a major tech company's server upgrade. Thousands of units were simply discarded, despite still functioning within acceptable parameters. This staggering waste raises questions about our throwaway culture and the environmental impact of our digital habits. But it's not just the sheer volume of e-waste that's alarming, it's also the hazardous materials involved. Many data centers rely on toxic coolants like hydrofluorocarbons, HFCs, to keep servers from overheating. When these devices are eventually retired, they pose a significant risk to the environment and human health. The data center industry has long been criticized for its lax policies regarding e-waste recycling and responsible disposal practices. A study published in 2019 found that over 75% of data centers did not have adequate waste management protocols in place. This lack of accountability not only perpetuates waste but also undermines efforts to create a more sustainable digital landscape. As our reliance on cloud computing continues to grow, it's imperative that the industry adopts more stringent sustainability standards. Governments and regulatory bodies must also step up their game, enforcing stricter regulations and providing incentives for responsible practices. The status quo is unacceptable, and it's time for a change. As we've seen, data center waste is a multifaceted issue that affects not only the environment but also the businesses and individuals who rely on these facilities. The sheer scale of this problem is staggering. Over 35% of servers are estimated to be idle or underutilized at any given time, while entire data centers are abandoned due to their high maintenance costs. But what's perhaps most disturbing is that this waste isn't just a minor annoyance, it has real-world consequences. According to a report by the Natural Resources Defense Council, data center energy consumption could rise from 200 billion kilowatt-hours in 2019 to over 1 trillion kilowatt-hours by 2030. That's enough electricity to power over 75 million homes, an unsustainable strain on our global resources.